Oh yeah, here we are live with another episode of Totally Uncensored, and I'm so happy to have my guest here. Uh, Man, we go back, Cleto, like 20, at least 25 years, man.
Yep, at least, yes, for sure.
When I met him in San Antonio, I know he was funny, so funny that I put him not on one, but maybe two or three of my TV shows, Lopez,
Yeah.
Global Comedy Jam. That's how funny I saw in him. And also, then when the tour came to San Antonio, Lopez,
hmm
uh, with George Lopez, Gabriel Iglesias, Felipe Esparza. I think this was in 2000 now,
That
Mother's
was a
Day.
two. That was around 2000, and I tell you what, after that gig, I didn't sleep for about a couple days. I don't think. Yeah, I was on
Yeah,
cloud nine.
I think you
Thank you
actually,
again, Mike. That was
you're,
awesome.
you're welcome, brother. I think you were actually crying as you got off stage because it was
Yeah, it was
I don't know,
overwhelming.
emotional.
It was really overwhelming because that was the first time I played the Majestic, and it was emotional because I had family in the audience, and the same family that kept telling me to get a day job and a real job saw me up there at the Majestic. So it was kind of overwhelming experience, and then to have the guys that I've looked up to in stand up, I'm actually performing on the same bill with them. It was just overwhelming, and it just caught me it caught me by surprise. I mean, you're talking about Iglesias, George Lopez, Willie Barcena, Ernie G, I can't remember who the other one was.
Gabriel Iglesias, Felipe,
Gabriel Iglesias. Oh, Felipe
Barcena,
Esparza. That was the other one.
what's up, fool?
Yeah,
Him.
what's up, fool?
So let me ask you, so the other comedians can have a taste. Comedians who were at your point at one time, dreaming of the bigger stage, dreaming of performing with comics they've seen on TV and so on. So what was it like? I'm just curious. I mean, I know what it was like, because I know what it was like for you. But I want to know
Yeah.
from your mind, what was it like when you say, "Oh my God, there's George Lopez, there's
Uh,
Gabriel Iglesias, there's what was going through your mind?"
well, it was funny because when you had asked me, I was very excited. I was so nervous. I'll never forget. I was so nervous. I didn't want to disappoint, you or the fans or anybody. I just wanted to have a good show, and I rehearsed and I rehearsed and rehearsed. But when I got to the backstage of the Majestic, and I had knew of George, and but I didn't really know him. I knew of him and his stand up.
Right,
And then I knew Gabriel because of the Latino Laugh Festival. We met there, and but he was we had just became really good friends around that time.
right.
And but it was he had already started blowing up, big time, because he had did the Que Locos and around that time. But what for me the feeling was here I am backstage, and I mean I'm in the green room appreciating the green room, like literally appreciate. I think I sat in every chair in the green room,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and I did. I was like, I mean, it was amazing to me how the guys weren't even in the green room; they're just walking around and smoking and doing their thing, and I was just like in the green room, like, wow, this is cool. You have your own green room, and I was like in awe. And then finally, I met George and got to talk to him, and then Willie, and Willie had just finished doing a Tonight Show spot. Gabriel had just finished. I think he did a tour. He was on some kind of tour, his own tour, I think,
Mm-hmm.
and he had did some other. I think he did Comedy Central, something like that. And everybody had just come off doing something, and Ernie G was working the college circuit. He had that down, and then Felipe, Felipe was the one that least that I think I related to more because he wasn't a big name then,
Mm-hmm.
but he
Right.
was big enough that people knew who he was.
Oh yeah.
And he was very funny. I remember him, Willie, and Roger Acevedo are probably the most uh, prolific writers, I guess you
Right.
could say, that I've met in stand up. Like they devote all the time to
Right.
writing and stuff.
Right.
And to
Felipe
me,
Esparza holds the record for the most appearances on Que Locos. I think it's
I
like
can believe that.
14. And
It,
every time he did it, he came with a brand new set. What's up,
yeah,
fool?
I could see that. I could see
Every
that.
set was a different 7 minutes. I'm thinking, yo, this dude was walking right at the same time, man.
Yeah.
So I can understand why today he's doing specials and has finally been recognized.
Yeah.
Has been
Yeah, you
blowing
can't
up.
he can't walk into a spot anymore and not get recognized.
And the
He's
beautiful thing
just
about the beautiful thing about Felipe is that he stayed humble. You know
yeah.
what I mean? To this day, he's Felipe from the Quelocos days. The
Yeah.
fame and everything else hasn't gotten to his head, man. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
he
With his,
even when he was on, what was it? Was it Last Comic Standing or America's
yeah,
Got Talent? I can't remember what it was.
last comic standing that he
Last Comic
won.
Standing. Even when he was on that show, he looked shocked that he won. Like he still, I still see his face. I'm like, I was so excited for him.
Right.
You know, someone that you know is has made it, and you're like, man, you know, of course you're like thinking, man, when's it my turn? And then you're
Right.
like, but you're happy for him. You know, you're
Right.
happy for everybody that's made it, and
Right.
you know, I mean, but you led the way, Mike. I mean, you definitely led the way at that during that time. I mean, I think a lot of these guys they really owe a lot to you because you had a special platform for us to be able to perform at a time that there was no platforms.
Well, I appreciate you saying that, man. And uh,
Absolutely, absolutely.
I'm blessed that I was able to create that platform because it wasn't about me. You know, if it was about me, I would have hosted every single show. It was
Yeah.
about a platform.
And I thought that was really cool on your part to be able to let Lopez, Iglesias, Barcena, Garcia, all these guys, Moreno, all these guys do a little bit and then do a little something that, you know, it stood out to them. I know it did because
Right.
it stood out to me as just being able to be a comedian on this big name national show. And, you know, but you had, I think what and I learned from it actually, you know, you create something and you bring everybody to that one thing.
Right.
And look at social media today. Everybody's got their own voice, their own videos, their own sound, their own show, their own thing. And they just bring people there. They just
Right.
bring people there to make it better and make it what it is. But at
Right.
that time, there was no social media. At
Right.
that time, it was just, you
Nothing.
know, oh, nothing. It was just word of
Right.
mouth. It
This is
was
what you
just,
had. You had a website, and in
yeah,
that website, you were able to send a message somehow, an
yep,
email, and that's how you communicated with us back and
yep,
forth through the website, not social media, but and that's how they would communicate. You're right. You know, it's funny though. You said, you know, it's nice to see like Felipe made it or finally made it, but the truth is, you've also made it, man. And the reason I say this is because, okay, I mean, not in the Felipe Esparza kind of space right now,
yeah,
but as far as San Antonio, you own this town. No, it sounds funny, but you know what I'm saying? You've made it as far as not only San Antonio, probably most of Texas, but San Antonio, you had your TV show called What's
yeah,
Up, Cleto. You're doing a podcast now. You won the funniest comedian in South Texas, right? And then I think the San Antonio Current gave you Entertainer of the Year, and
yeah,
then now you have a dry bar special, I believe, on
yeah,
Amazon Prime Time. What is it? Cleto's my
yeah.
real name.
Yeah, Clifton's my real name, and
Right. I
Devil,
mean,
Devil, get the heck out of here.
right. So, bro, that's a lot of achievements for any comedian. Any
Yeah,
comedian, especially said that's why you walk around San Antonio, bro. It's like they should give you the key. You're like to me, you're the mayor. You're the mayor of San Antonio, bro. I get. No, I'm serious. I know that, and when I see how people embrace you, approach you, and how you embrace them, I could see. You know, this is mostly all of San Antonio.
Man, I appreciate it,
Kids,
Mike. I mean,
the older
it was.
people.
I have to. You know, you know me. I give God all the glory for that because it was just doors opening left and right at a certain time that I didn't know which way I was going to go, and then I wind up getting on the news, and and that it was interesting how everything played out, Mike. Everything played out. I remember it started when my son Samuel was born.
Right.
It was 2 days afterwards. They had the last comic standing auditions at the River Center Comedy Club, and I went to go audition. And honestly, I, I was 2 days after my son was born. I went over there. I was supposed to do 2 minutes. I've had an hour of material, and I did not prepare. And I got so humbled because I forgot my act on stage,
Ooh.
and it was just crickets. And I froze, and I was the first time ever that I froze. And I remember Alonzo Bowden was like, "Hey, come on, Cleto, what's going on? What are you doing?
When you say,
Come on, Cleto."
no, wait, no. When you say you froze,
I froze.
what
I
do you mean
literally
exactly?
froze.
On
I
stage?
literally did
On,
not remember my bits
on stage?
on stage, right in front of the judges, which were
Oh,
the
show me, show me,
comedians.
show me. I want to see how did you show me.
I I, I said, um, I want to. Uh, and Kathleen Madigan was there with a puppet. Oh, he forgot his lines. Oh, he forgot. And I'm like, oh. And in Last Comic Standing, if they show that, you're done.
You're
Put a
done,
fork in
bro.
you. You're done.
Yeah,
That's going to be in the bloopers. And I
yeah.
was there. Well, and then I just heard next, and I got down. I got out of the stage. I went to my house. I was in my room for 3 days having a pity party. And finally, my wife just came in and kind of, I think the first place I went was to church. And I was mad and I was upset. I didn't want to be there. And then finally, I just kind of left it there. And sure enough, I said, I'm never going to get a TV show. That afternoon, Mike, I get a call from a buddy of mine. And he says, "Hey, I would like to have your own show." And I'm like, "What?" He goes, "Yeah, it's something called live streaming, and it's gonna be an internet success." I'm like,
Okay.
I don't think it's gonna catch really. And it winds up being like um, live streaming. That's all it is. And he gave me this code. He gave me this computer, two photography lights, and he goes, you could do anything you want, and put it on the internet, and that'll be your show. You got to bring everybody there. I said, okay. I don't think it's gonna catch, but we'll see. So I wind up doing the Cleto show, and it winds up being that I wanted my show is going to be about a Tonight Show. I mean, like I want to have like a Tonight Show setting, and you were actually a guest on there.
Yeah, yeah.
Remember when you
That's
did
right.
the Cleto show? We were doing
Yeah.
at First Friday at Blue Star. You were like one of my big guests that I had on there, and it wound up not knowing it was like a pilot audition because one of the Ceballos brothers was in the audience that day, and he saw the whole picture and he saw what we were trying to do.
Right.
We were going to different restaurants and we had a couch, a desk, and a chair. And it was trying to be like the Tonight Show.
Okay.
And I remember we had so much fun bantering back and forth during that interview. And it was so funny because we know each other.
Right.
So it was none of these people have no idea what we're talking about.
Well,
And we except us, and we had a good time. And
yeah,
next thing you know, they said, "Do you want to have let's make this a show?" And it turned out to be this hybrid show, and we wind up getting Eva Longoria as a producer. We got the Ceballos brothers who just came off of Brothers Garcia on Nickelodeon, and amongst other projects that they were famous for. And they came on board and said, "Let's make this happen. We'll do the Cleto show," and that's how that started. And from there, Mike, we did a whole season, 13 episodes. It aired locally. It was too local. We couldn't go any further than that.
Right.
But it lasted a season. But before we could promote the season, I went to Great Day SA and I went to San Antonio Living and to promote the show. When I was on San Antonio Living, Shelly Miles I made her laugh for 3 minutes straight just about my name. And sure enough, she wound up booking me to be on there once a month. So when I did that once a month, my news director, my boss at the time, Tom Bell, who wound up hiring me, saying he just got back from a gig in Utah conference, and he said, "Yeah, there's this guy called Big Buddha over there that did the same exact thing I did on Where's Cleto, and except he was not a comedian." So he wanted to bring some humor and something different than doom and gloom to the news. Okay. So he had me audition for like 3 months, and I was there just auditioning and auditioning. And finally, I went into his office. I said, "Look, if you're not gonna hire me, I'm not gonna wake up this early in the morning anymore.
Yeah, right.
And sure enough, they hire me, and then 9 years later, I fell in love with the community, and it fell in love with me. I mean, it took a while to get them to like me, and get them to know what I was doing.
Of course, I
At
want to ask
first,
you what happened. What happened to Cleto? Where's Cleto? What happened?
well, because COVID, the sales people weren't getting the numbers, and they had to have budget cuts, so they cut myself
Uh,
and a couple other veterans
why
to
did
come
why did
out.
they cut
And
Ernie Zuniga, man?
he Ernie's
Why is he
Ernie's
still
Ernie's
there? Why is he
Ernie,
still there? I gave this
Ernie's
man a K
Ernie's
Locos.
gold, bro.
Hey,
Ernie's gold.
I gave him a K Locos. I don't have it on a K Locos T-shirt. I don't see
Uh
him wearing it, bro. I
huh.
don't see. I'm messing with you. Ernie
Yeah,
Zuniga, actually,
he,
I don't know if you
he's
know this.
gold.
He interviewed me 3 times. Ernie Zuniga.
Yeah,
You know,
he's good like that. He's
he's
good like
great.
that. He's really good. Matter of fact, he just had an interview with what is his name? America's husband. What's his name?
Steve Trevino.
Steve Trevino. Yes. So he's got. I know he's good friends with Steve. So he had
Right.
Steve on there,
Okay.
and yeah, but Ernie's gold. He ain't going nowhere.
So basically, because of COVID, that no, and by the way, Ernie Zuniga, everyone, I was joking. What could be?
Yeah, yeah.
I
He
think you're
knows.
great. And matter of fact, I'm up early and I watch it. I watch him. I think the new girl, I don't know, Maritza, Mortiz, it starts with an M, right? His co-host.
Maide
Right, right. And then
Maide Gomez.
the weather dude and the
Brad.
traffic chick. What's the traffic girl's name? On
It used to be Vanessa.
Fox, New York, right? Some girl
Yeah,
Martin. Some girl
what's her
Martin.
name? I don't know who the new one is now.
Uh, but no, I watch the show. I'm a fan of the show. So let's get that straight. And the reason they cut budgets was because COVID, and that's why they
Yeah,
said,
so they had budget
goodbye to
cuts.
West Leto, right?
Yeah, so there went. It was Rush Cleto for real when I was gone. But and it wound up. After they let me go, I started finding out that I was able. I was kind of. I saw the writing on the wall a little bit, and just wanted to, I guess, get back to my roots of stand up and make and create another something different, and just now getting up in age. I'm at 51 now, and my family's growing up and getting older, and you just kind of it's like a different perspective. It's a different thing. And then speaking of perspectives, and then last August I got real sick with COVID, and that was a close call.
I saw that.
And
You almost died, right?
yeah, I almost
How close were you away to dying? Do you know?
real close. I mean, the doctors were actually they're calling me like a walking miracle. I wasn't even supposed to be able to leave
Really?
that hospital, but the way my lungs were so full of junk that it
Really?
was hard to breathe, Mike. I couldn't. It was all gray in my chest. You couldn't see any black whatsoever. It looked like a cloudy day,
Oh man.
and it
How'd you
was
get
like
it?
that for 2.5 weeks. And I
How'd you
mean,
get it? How did,
I don't know. I don't know how or where, but if I had to guess,
right.
I would say it was Corpus when I did a gig in Corpus, because Steve Espinoza, comedian over there out of Corpus, got it just as bad as I did,
Wow.
and I'm assuming him and I got it there. We're at the same comedy club at the same time,
Mm.
and a lot of people thought I got it when I did a guest spot for Gabriel, but no,
Yeah, that's what we were saying. Yeah, you did a guest spot when he was at the what was he? AT&T or Tobin? I don't remember.
Tobin, yeah,
Yeah.
but I was wearing a mask and he wasn't, and which was weird, but he didn't wear a mask, but everybody else was wearing a mask, and everybody else got tested, and I got tested, and I was negative, but I thought it was just allergies. But man, I realized my cough got worse. I got fatigued really bad, and
Yeah.
my oxygen level was it was at 86, and if it's under 90, you got to go to the ER. And I was at 86, and it was going down,
Yeah.
and wind up going to the hospital, and I was there in ICU for about 2 weeks, and then the last few days I was just in a regular room waiting to get out. But it was it was definitely the scariest moment of my life, because I don't think I've
Yeah.
ever been that scared. You want to see how far you are. You want to see how close you are with your relationship to God. You'll find out real
Yeah.
quick right then and there.
Yeah. You actually have visions. Once that happens, is you go from talking to him to him being in the chair next to you.
Yeah, it's
Like
he
with
ain't
a
lying.
label.
It's
Yeah.
it was for me it was I I found myself like really really scared, and not wanting, not knowing what was going to happen. And my faith, for some reason, as strong as I expected it to be,
Hmm.
I found myself leaning more so on man and the doctors that I could see. And I was like, look, this lady goes, we're going to put these antibodies on you. I'm like, you can put crack cocaine in me right now, as long as it's going to help me, help me breathe. Cause I could not breathe, and I could not, uh, I was so fatigued.
Hmm.
And it wasn't until the second day, oh yeah, that's the other thing. So my first night there, Mike, in ICU, there's a couple people crying in the hallway, and I asked the nurse, "What's that going on?" They said, "Oh, it's they lost a family member due to COVID." And I said, "Oh, okay." And then I asked the nurse, and I kid you not, the nurses there are so immune to deaths in ICU that it happens all the time,
Oh yeah.
and they were just like not trying to be hurtful, but this one nurse, I asked him, "What are the chances of me getting out of here?"
I
And he
know.
goes, and I kid you not, Mike, this is what he said. About 50-50, maybe, you want some more blankets? You know what I mean? And I'm like, no, I want a banana split. If I'm going to go out, let's go out big. You know what I mean? And sure enough, when I heard that, I really got freaked out, and I didn't sleep for 2 days
Did he
straight.
really tell you that?
Yeah, he did. And, and,
Oh
and,
my
and
God.
I didn't sleep for 2 days straight. My eyes were burning. I was giving my wife the, hey, tell the kids I love them speech, and I'll be with them forever, and
You
that
really
kind of
thought
thing.
you
I
really
did.
thought.
I was. My wife was like, "Look, don't talk like that. That's not faith." And I'm telling her, "Baby, you don't understand. I'm hurting over here. I can't breathe. I can't move. I can't do anything, and my eyes hurt, and I have not rested and slept in 2 days." And she said, "Give it to God. Just give it to God." And sure enough, I said, if I'm about to meet my Maker, I
Mhm.
want him to know that I trust in him. And I remember, I'll never forget this as clear as day. It was 2 o'clock in the morning. I was watching the Olympics, and I just finished seeing this show called The Chosen, and it was a story about Christ and his disciples. It was more on the disciples part, and there was this one scripture that popped into my head
Mhm.
where Jesus is gonna heal the paralyzed man next to the well, and he says, "Do you want to get healed? Do you want to get well?" Well, the guy gives him all these excuses. Well, sir, I have nobody to put me in the pool, and they keep tripping over me, and they go over me, and they just pass me up, and nobody wants to help me. He goes, "That's not what I asked. Do you want to get healed? Do you want to get well?" Again, he gives him more excuses, and he finally says, "Look, what I have is better than that pool." And he goes, "Do you want to get well?" And he goes, "Yes." He goes, "Then pick up your mat and walk." As soon as I heard that, I hear, as I'm talking to you, Mike, "Do you want to get well?" I was
Mhm.
so freaked out because this COVID plays tricks with your mind. And I got
Oh,
up, and I
that's
was
why it's
like,
good with the
I
mind.
had the airflow mask on,
Right.
and I heard that, and I go, "Who's here? Who's here?" You know? And I was by myself. I was by myself, and I hear it again. "Do you want to get healed?" And I start giving excuses now. "Lord, you don't understand. They told me 50-50 chance. I ain't got to go make. And he goes, "It's not what I asked. Do you want to get healed?" And I said, as soon as I said, "Yes, Lord," kid you not, Mike, kid you not, I fell asleep till 4:30 the next day. And the only reason I know it was 4:30 because they woke me up because they thought I was dead
Oh
because they
my
were
God.
taking blood from me and I wasn't even flinching. And
Wow.
every time they took blood from me, I flinched. Every time I felt the needle near me, I flinched.
Right.
This time I didn't flinch. I was at such a peace. And when I woke up, Mike, I had a new feeling inside of me, a strength inside of me to fight for my life, to fight for my wife, my kids, my family. Period. I just had a new strength. I don't know where it came. I mean, I know where it came from, but I just was like overwhelmed. And I remember the lady, the nurse, the physical therapist told me, you know what? I need 10 knee raises. I go, you know what, lady? I'm gonna give you 15 because I'm feeling that I want to get out of here.
Right.
I want to get out of Dodge. Let's go. And sure enough, that was the start of my recovery.
Thank God. So now you got, thank God. Well, now you survived and you're back, doing what you love to do, which is the comedy. Now let me ask you, because you do clean comedy, basically, right? You like, because now what made you do the clean comedy? Because, by the way, clean comedy is not easy to do, man.
Well,
I mean, you try to, but because I believe that clean comedians probably get more gigs than comedians.
Yeah, that is a given right there.
How'd you get that?
Well, I started out doing stand-up comedy, and I was a pretty dirty, filthy comic. And I was dirty, and I was not clean at all. But then I married a Christian woman, and she wasn't having any of that. And and I changed my whole set. I wind up quitting comedy, and I had a lot of comics mad at me because I was like in the middle of my prime, and I was coming up. I was doing well. I was doing great, and but there was something missing in my life. And
let me ask you: did your wife see the act before you met, or were you doing comedy while you were married?
No, I was a comedian before we met, but I was dirty, and I was pretty. Yeah, I was pretty dirty, and
you were doing well, right? You were doing well.
I was doing great. I thought I was doing great. I mean,
So where's the connection then, where all of a sudden you said no?
I think it was.
Now what made the switch?
It was. Well, at first, I was trying to. Okay. So I thought. I remember coming home from a gig one time, and I remember I caught my ex-fiance cheating on me, and that led me to the bottle. I was drinking myself to sleep. Nobody knew I was a closet alcoholic. I was drinking myself to sleep, bottle after bottle. It wasn't until my brother moved in with me, but before he did, actually, this one thing happened where I came home from a gig, and I remember I lived by myself in an apartment, and I locked my front door, and I heard the loudest silence I ever heard, which is an oxymoron. But I went to my bedroom. I remember locking my front door. I remember going to my bedroom, locking that door, and I remember I felt just so alone, and I went under my blanket and I literally prayed for the first time. And I remember the prayer too. It was like more like, God, if you're there, hook me up because I'm hurting here. I'm drinking myself to sleep. And the only thing I got going for me at that time, and I mean this in this order, was comedy and my daughter, Gabby. And I would pawn Gabby off to my parents on my weekend just so I can go out and vent on stage somewhere just to clear my head. And
how long did you go with this? Like,
I was 9 months in, just bitter, angry, was not in a good place at all.
Do you have any tapes, by the way? I'd love to look at them.
I don't have any of the tapes. No, I don't.
Where can we find some tapes, bro?
I know it's somewhere out there. It's somewhere out there.
I'm just so used to seeing you as Cleto, the clean comedian. I can't imagine.
If you find that, that's vintage. If you find that, that's vintage right there.
I probably. And what was your go-to drink?
What's that?
What was the go-to drink that you had?
The closer.
No, not your.
What'd you say?
yeah. The closer. What was the name of the drink? The closer that you would.
Oh, the drink. The drink I had.
Yeah, the closer. What was the closer? What was the one that knocks you out? your closing drink before you said good night.
Oh, my closing drink was probably. It depends. Whatever I had. I had a bar, Mike, in my apartment, and I had a bar. I even had a neon sign that said Cletos Bar. I was pretty proud of that bar, actually. I was. And I had you name it, I had it, Wild Turkey, Jack Daniels, tequila. Tequila was probably the go-to because it would knock me out quick. And I would not mess around. And then met my wife. I brought her to my apartment and she was not impressed with the bar at all.
Okay.
And she had invited me to church a couple of times, and at first I thought I was missing just a female in my life, and but it was no, it was something bigger than that. It was Christ, and when I found that out, I wind up quitting comedy and get myself right with God, and I didn't know what I was going to do because I didn't know how to do anything else. And my wife told me that, kind of like the Holy Spirit speaking to her, saying, "You need to go show what people you got to go back to comedy. You got to go show people what God's doing in your life, and you got to be that light in that darkness, and you got to be able to, love on them, just like Christ would, if he was here." And that became a mission for me to be an encourager, if you will, and not only that, but just to be that light where I was at. And I'll be honest, Mike. When I went back to the comedy club, I was so excited. But she goes, "When you go back, you got to do it his way, which is clean." And I didn't care. I just became a student of clean comedy, and I studied Cosby, Bob Hope, Burl, all these people, and I was just like, okay, let's make this happen. And it was rough because I remember when I tell everybody about my newfound faith in Christ, and I found out nobody wanted to know about Christ. Nobody wanted to know, and I got called so many names. Oh my gosh, I got called so many names: Holy Roller, Jesus Freak, the whole nine, and I was the only one at that time going through this, and then actually doing clean comedy, and I didn't care. I just wanted to. I just remember God before me, who could be against me. And as much as I loved all these guys that I was praying for on a daily, they had no idea, but I was praying for them a daily. It was just overwhelming just to that first week. I remember I went to church and I was sitting there and I was all hurt and all mad. And my wife she was praising God and she goes, "What's the matter? What's going on?" God didn't hear my prayer. "Well, what's your prayer?" "Oh, I wanted him to zap their tongues with lightning because they made fun of me."
Oh God.
She goes and tells me, "Wow, you're hurt because they called you names." She goes, "Did they put nails in your hand or in your feet?" And I'm like, "Wow, what I got to go there for?" And but it was a true statement to where I just kind of left it at his feet and said, "You know what, Lord, you just have me do what you want me to do," and I just went from there. And after that, I just never looked back.
That's great. And you're doing it how many years now?
Wow, it's now it's 22 years clean. Yeah.
Oh man, all right. God bless you. 22
Yeah, it's
years.
it's a long time, and it has gotten me a lot of work. It's gotten me a lot of opening gigs, and
You're
it's
touring a
one
little
thing
bit.
to.
You do a lot of churches, right?
Oh, a lot of churches. I mean, churches has been like believe it or not, churches and corporate shows have been my bread and butter for the last probably 20 years, and it's believe it or not, churches just want realism. They just want the reality of life and how you see it, and talk about it. They don't really want to hear, "Oh, David and Samson,
Right.
walking to a bar,
I know.
they just want to hear real life and just in general how you see it and just clean, they just want something refreshing. So
Well, then that pretty much what I said in the opening.
yeah,
You made it.
yeah. I mean,
I know you mentioned Felipe. I know what you're saying, but
yeah,
in reality, to me, with the corporate gigs and the church gigs, and the fact that you turned your whole life around from being, drunk to
yeah.
clean and so on and sober. I mean, I'm trying to find here like how you haven't made it.
Yeah, it's funny. I guess to me, it's always been the national level. To me, it's always been that national level. of the fan base. You know as much as you don't want to covet what everybody else has, you want to be able to do what you're called to do. And I've been content with my stand up and my career for a long time of where it's at. Although the one lesson I would say I learned from COVID, because I have a whole new perspective on life now,
Right.
is that before COVID, I was complaining about where I was in my career, what I was doing. I was doing something I didn't understand. A lot of my comedian friends that were like, "Man, you got this sweet gig with the news," and I didn't see that. I saw I'm still not where I want to be,
Right.
and that's national level,
Okay.
and I just was never content with that, and at times I felt I was, but I wasn't. I was not, and sure enough, the lesson was God showed me all the blessings that were right in front of me that I didn't even know about, and that's like you said, you see all these, the contest, you see the sitcom, you see all this stuff that you can look back and say, wow, I actually did it.
Right.
And it's
And you were
whether
recognized
it's
too.
yeah, and being here in San Antonio and getting recognized all the time, it's
Right.
what I wanted, especially in my hometown. So I
Right.
don't really, if I don't go out of town, if I'm good here, I don't have to go anywhere, and it's
Right.
just overwhelming
So
to
what you're saying
see.
is you want more, right? You want
Ah,
more. Well, that's what you told me. I think you posted. You didn't tell me, but I think I saw it on Facebook that you want to become a TikTok star, right?
oh
TikTok.
yeah,
You said you want like
yeah.
a million. You want a million
Everything now, Mike.
followers. You have a million
Uh,
followers, right? No, no.
it's all
You,
TikTok now.
you want a million followers, but you have like only like 199.
109.
Nine now. What are you now? What do your numbers now look like?
1929.
What are you,
1929.
what are you getting up there?
I'm getting there. I'm slowly but surely. I just got to keep doing more videos, but that's a lot of work, Mike. A
Yeah,
lot of work.
that's funny, man. But listen, as long as you have fun with it. For me personally, I think you're doing great.
Yeah,
Yeah?
it's
And
it's
I would just,
it's fun. I have nothing to complain about, Mike, at all.
got
At
a
all.
beautiful wife, right? Family.
Beautiful wife, beautiful kids.
Okay.
Got my dad living with me now, and
Right.
yeah,
You survived COVID.
yeah, survived COVID. That was a
You,
big thing right there.
you know what?
And
You look at you. I don't know. I like this clip. I don't know if it's a TikTok stuff, but I don't know, man. Like, give me, what would you do at TikTok? You know what I'm saying? I'm just thinking. I'm
just
curious.
just doing goofy stuff and dance, I guess. I don't know.
I don't know. You do
Craziness.
you do a good Michael Jackson. That I know.
Yeah. I
You still do
challenged
that?
Michael Jackson one time, a look-alike, and it was pretty funny. It was pretty. I got it on my TikTok there.
So anyway, before we go, just let me ask you what's in the plans? What's next? What would you like to do next?
Um, I'm actually in the process of trying to get another local TV show, but under the umbrella of Where's Cleto. The station just kind of gave me their blessing to use that name, so I was very excited about that because they had owned it. So
Okay.
they gave me the blessing to use it. I mean, I didn't know if they had another Cleto over there or not, but you know,
That's right.
yeah, what are the chances? But yeah, so they kind of gave me their blessing and said, hey, whatever you want to do, and then I got eventually I'll have the Where's Cleto podcast as well later on down the line, to where I just want to keep it strictly comedy. And right now I got the radio broadcast on Inspiration for Life with Rita Hernandez, Classy and the Comedian, which you were a guest on, which thank you, by the way, for doing that. A lot of people were really intrigued with your story, and you got a lot more fans now.
Oh yeah,
So
man. I had a great time, man. I appreciate the
it
invitation.
was fun. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah,
And
man, it was a lot of fun.
but yeah, we're definitely, here at this house, Mike. We're all, you know, we love you and we're praying for you, man. We're praying for your health, and that will never stop.
Well, man, I appreciate that. That means a lot. So, yeah, man. Listen, you got over COVID, and hopefully, I'll get over this little cancer ordeal. And if
Amen.
not,
Yes, sir.
man, we're gonna go, bro. No matter when, that's why I look at it. You know what I'm saying? It's like, listen, if I can live one more day, then a celebrity, then I've made it.
Right.
I don't know.
Well, you are a celebrity in a lot of people's eyes, Mike. I mean, you're talking. I don't know if a lot of people know that you're the Emmy Award winning, and like I said the other day, you raised the bar for a lot of comedians like myself to, and you were the floor plan. What people can
Yeah.
look back at. I mean, I saw you in action doing, wearing the different hats, wearing the producer hat, the promoting hat, the booking hat, all the hats, and then have to host. I mean, it's like, and then be funny on top of that. I don't know how you did it. I was like, wow. And I
Yeah.
remember one time seeing a taping at the Ice House, and I called my wife back at the hotel, and I said, "Wow, I don't know how Mike does it. I don't know how in the world he does it, but he was sharp. He had everything down. He knew what he wanted, who he wanted, and it just happened. He made it happen." And I'm like, man, I was amazed. I was amazed.
Yeah. No, man, it was just, again, like you said, you give all the glory to God. I do the same thing, man. I couldn't have done it by myself, and I
Yeah,
realize that now. And the only thing I say, as far as, and I appreciate everything you said, but I've always been humble, I've
yeah,
never been one
yeah,
of those braggers. Hey, do you know I got an Emmy? A lot of people don't know I have an Emmy award. I was at
yeah.
the Ha Ha Comedy Club in LA, right? There was a brother out there. He goes, "Man, Mike, you got an Emmy award? Please." He goes, "If I had one, I'd be walking every day with that Emmy award with a thick gold chain around my neck and that Emmy award just hanging on." I cracked
Yeah.
up because I believe I'm sure this guy would have
Yeah.
come out with
I,
that Emmy
we,
award in his pocket or walked around with it like a bottle. I don't do
and I,
that.
and I think that's what a lot of comedians really related to you because they appreciated the fact that you were humble. Now you appreciate the fact that you were nice enough to give them your spot. And I thought that was
Yeah,
probably one of the most unselfish acts I ever seen. And I was like, wow, that's cool.
yeah,
And to be able to give that spot to someone else and knowing that that's the prime spot, the primo spot,
right.
and you're like, wow, I thought that was amazing. That was pretty cool.
No,
And
I
that's
felt that.
that's a good that's a good I mean, it says a lot about who you are and your character. And I
Yeah.
think a lot of people, I think a lot of comedians not only appreciated that, but they respected that.
Well, I appreciate you saying that, and recognizing it. But I guess that's who I am, man. I was just happy to be able to create a distribution, stage to showcase all this wonderful Latino talent that, in my eyes, wasn't on TV anymore. I wanted
Yeah.
to change it, and little by little, I changed it, and I'm happy I did. And now look, I mean, everybody got a Latino comedy show. They're coming
Yeah.
out of, like I told you before, they're coming out of the woodworks, man.
Yeah.
So many Latino comedians now, and everybody got a show. Everybody got a show. It's like, and God bless them.
There's a whole new batch, and I had a couple of them call me sir. I was like, wow. When I become the old guy at the club.
Yeah, no, you know what? It's this generation. I'm not gonna get into it, but I know we've been in it a long time, and it's because of the passion that we did this, and we know that it's gonna take some time. We got to be good at it. We got to study it. We got to
Yeah.
perform. There's a lot of work involved. For some reason, kids today, I call them kids. I'm calling them kids, right? Uh, they want it now, man. They want
Yeah.
to be successful now. They want to be a star. Why are you doing
Yeah.
this? I want to be a star. And it's like, well, you're doing it you got to do it because you love it, first of all. Then,
Right.
then make plans to become a star. And
Right.
by then you'll be so good at it that, yeah, I'm going to be, but it's sad to see sometimes for the reasons that they do it. I
Yeah.
want this. I want just love what you do, man. It'll come. I told Renee Garcia, God bless him, one of our comedian friends.
Yeah.
I
Renee.
told him the same thing. I said, Renee, love what you do. The fame, celebrity status, and the money will follow you.
Yeah.
Trust me when I tell you that. It's not the other way around, bro.
Yeah.
It's not they're not gonna give you. But anyway, but I appreciate you saying that. I had a lot of fun. Uh, and that's that. And for me personally now, I'm trying to finish my little comedy document, whatever you want to call it. People call it a comedy doc. I don't know, comedy doc, like comedy
Comedy doc.
document. Yeah,
Com doc.
come down. I'm calling mine a Mike documentary. Instead of
Documentary. I like
documentary,
that.
it's a Mikedocumentary.
I like that.
It's
That's
gonna be
awesome.
I hope nobody steals that if they hear this. You think?
Nah, I don't think they'll
Trademark,
steal
but
it.
they do ding ding trademark.
Yeah,
Trademark.
it's already claimed out, so they
I
can't
said it
steal it.
first, Mike.
Yep, you said
Yeah,
it first.
yeah, and hopefully I got to do it, and I got to do it soon. Because
Yeah,
time is not a luxury for anymore. You got to do this shit now. But anyway, so
it's funny you say that, Mike. My mom, when she was before she passed, they had told her she had 6 months, and I was like already I was kind of pulling away from my mom, which I regret, and because I was trying to get my heart right for that, and that was my my mom. It's like wow, but we got blessed with 5 years, 5 years, and after that I didn't believe any doctor. After that, I didn't believe anymore. I mean, don't get me wrong, I praise the doctors and the nurses for helping me when I was in the
yeah.
hospital. But I just, for the most part, I think they have to say what they have to say just to cover themselves. And I
Hey,
get it. I
you know
understand.
what it is? They like being right, man. They like being right. I remember the first time they told me, just like you, it was like they said you have, multiple myeloma cancer. I was like, the first thing was, well, how long do I have?
Mm-hmm.
And the idiot tells me 2 to 3 years, something like that. And then my mind is like going 2 to 3 years. Okay, my daughter's 3 years old. This means she'll be gone by 7 years. Anyway, so now I'm going on my 7th year, like you just said. And then
Yeah.
recently they told me like it was November. According to them, this is November. I have like 7 months left. According to them, according to paper, 7 months is what I have left. Because the things in my heart, whatever it is. Like you said, God has the final word.
He sure
I'm gonna
does.
see if I can make it 70 months instead of
that that
7 months.
that
You know what I mean?
that's what I'll be in agreement for right there.
Yeah. So
Absolutely.
yeah, but I'm
Well,
glad Go ahead.
hey, Mike, I just gotta say, and I want to be able to say this on record that I just want to say thank you for everything. Seriously, I mean, just for my career, jump starting my career, and not only that, but like I said before on my post, taking a chance on a no-name kid from San Antonio to be part of a big event like your tour, and I'm eternally grateful for that, and I just wanted you to know that. And not only that, but you're one of my dearest friends, and I'm always definitely gonna be here no matter what. I don't care how famous I ever get. It doesn't matter. I
No, no,
just know that.
no, I appreciate that, man. And like I said, when I saw you, bro, it's very simple, man. I don't want you to take it the wrong way. I don't want your wife to get jealous. But when I saw you the first time, Cleto, and I put you on the TV shows or the Majestic, whatever came first, I was just following my heart, bro. That's all it was. I
Yeah.
followed my heart, man. And I
Well,
said,
I'm
this.
so grateful that you did. I'm
and,
so
I,
grateful that you did.
and I was right because to see you come from the Majestic stage and the Kid Local shows, which again, we're going back almost 20 years, bro.
Yeah.
And to see where you are today, and to see the growth and the confidence and everything else from that, I would say, like not intimidated, but oh my God, he's here, he's there. To now walking into any room and not being awed by anybody, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's awesome, man. That's awesome growth. But
Yeah.
anyway, so
It was definitely
but let's tell everybody where they can find you before we get
Just
out of here.
Cleto Rodriguez on Instagram and Cleto Rodriguez on Facebook and Twitter and TikTok. Cleto Rodriguez 5021 TikTok.
That's right. We got to get him at least to another 10,000 after they view this.
Yeah, go right now and like my TikTok. That'd be great. I'm at 1929. We'll see how many I get after that.
A future TikTok celebrity. You saw him. You saw him. I can't even say it. You saw him here. So, man, God bless you, bro, your family. I'm sure we'll see each other again somewhere out there doing comedy. And
Absolutely,
of course,
brother.
Father's Day, June the 18th.
You're there, the Saturday, right? You're there the Saturday?
Yeah,
Awesome.
At Las Chiladas,
Las Chiladas.
Event Center, or the Cleto Event Stage.
Yeah, it's a long name. Cleto Rodriguez Comedy and Live Event Stage.
Well, that's good. You bring in live entertainment in San Antonio and good
Yeah,
entertainment.
it's kind of we try to bring a little bit of everything, and the only thing we're missing is a juggler and a magician. Other than that, we got everything else.
I can get you that, by the way.
Yeah, we'll take them.
Thanks for everything you do, and thanks for doing the podcast, bro.
Absolutely, brother. You take care of yourself. God bless you, Mike.
You take care. God bless you too. See you later.
You got it.